Chris Minns is the new Premier of New South Wales as Labor returns to government in the state after 12 years in opposition. Coming up this morning, Federal Minister and New South Wales Labor President Michelle Rowland and possible next Liberal leader Alistair Henskins. First, though, my colleague, our political editor Andrew Clennell. After a big night, a busy night, Andrew, we're back and the wash-up is Labor out of the wilderness after more than a decade.
It's a devastating defeat for the Liberal Party and a euphoric victory for Labor. And it really does feel like the end of an era after 12 years of coalition government in New South Wales and the start of a new one. The 12-year era involved privatising assets and building an incredible amount of infrastructure. The new one, we know, will mean no more privatisation. So they'll have some challenges, Labor, with quite a lot of debt, more than $180 billion of debt, and they'll have to look at how to pay for things. But as things stand, Kieran, we've got Labor winning somewhere between 45 and 48 seats in the 93-member chamber. They probably will just fall over the line with 47 for a majority. If it ends up something like 46, they'll make an independent speaker, maybe someone like Phil Donato, and then they'll have no problem with legislation with the coalition back in the mid-30s. So the coalition's lost at least sort of 10 seats. It's a pretty devastating result.
It is indeed. And Andrew, as someone who I grew up here, I know Sydney well, and it has transformed in the last decade the way it looks in terms of the infrastructure that the coalition government's built. A huge record and legacy there for the coalition government. Was the baggage just too much after 12 years, the political baggage?
I think your time just runs out, and Chris Minns was credible. There's an argument that Labor, who ended up in power for 16 years here, that would have been 12 if it wasn't Peter Debnam running as opposition leader in that 2007 election. You've got a time limit as a government. There's a more progressive vote, a younger vote coming through. And the Liberals tried to capture that, but in doing so, I think they upset some of their base. And obviously we had Peter Credlin on last night criticising Matt Keane, the Treasurer and Energy Minister, for that approach. So, yes, I think it was just a matter of its time. They were on their fourth Premier. You look like you're at your use-by date after a while.
So more about the use-by date than Dominic Perrottet himself.